Okay, so good morning, good morning everyone. Kamusta po kayong lahat dyan? So another professional education na naman po ang ating session, of course, with Coach Joy. So as you can see, kapag nakita niyo pong video na ito, please share to everyone po para mas marami pong mas marami pang iba ang matuto sa ating discussion. Alright. So before we start, of course, let's have a prayer. Dear Lord Jesus, I pray that you help me settle down and focus on my studies. Help me collect my thoughts and keep me from distractions that divert my mind from my books. My exam is coming up, which is the LAHAT, and I need your grace to learn and retain what I have acquired. May my efforts bear fruits and let me remember all that I read. I pray in Jesus Christ. Amen. So, amen. Alright, so before we start, I want you to get your pen and paper and try nyo po sumagot sa ating 15 items. And then, comment nyo sa ating video kung ano yung magiging score nyo so that I know kung saan kayo weak and saan kayo mas, ano yung mas alam nyo na questions. So, take down notes po tayo. Get your pen and paper. And now, let's start in 1, 2, 3, let's go. Okay. So first question. I will ready my pen for a while. Just hold on. Okay. Number 1 question. Maturation should precede certain types of learning. How is this applied in the classroom? Okay, letter A. Follow the interest of students in assigning tasks. Letter B, Mrs. Navarro wants to increase the abilities of her students to solve more concepts should be taught from simple to complex. Letter C, consider age level of students in teaching certain concepts. Or letter D, give the same task to all students in a particular grade level. Alright, so number 1 question, what is our clue there? Okay, yung na-underline ko na po, of course, maturation is our clue. So kapag sinabi nating maturation, ano po ba yan? Do you have any idea? Alright, of course you have any idea. Alam nyo to, ano yung maturation. Kaso nga lang, hindi kayo familiar sa word na maturation. Pero I'm sure na alam nyo po ito. Alright, so here, the correct answer for our number 1 question is letter C. Alright, consider age level of students in teaching certain concepts. The question is why, bakit po letter C? So, here is our rationale. Kapag sinabi po natin growth, alright, it is the process of development, particularly of becoming physically larger. Alright, hold on. Okay, kapag sinabi natin growth, it is the process of development, particularly of becoming physically larger. So the word there is physically larger. Kapag sinabing growth, di ba parang lumaki ka? Like for example, sa growth kasi, nagre-refer tayo dito ng quantitative. Alright, quantitative. When we say quantitative, it refers to the number. So for example, sa growth natin, yung bata. And then, parang yung bata is 5 years old and pagtungtong niya sa 10 years old, parang may changes sa kanyang katawan. That is quantitative. So, nag-refer tayo dito sa age. That is growth. Next one is development. Dito naman sa development, super easy. Okay. Development is a way that people grow and change as they age. So for example, sa development, sa setting, sa classroom setting, si teacher, okay, nag-discuss about piano. Yung bata, natutunan niya yung definition ng piano, and then as time goes by, natuto na siya on how to play piano. So that is development kasi may nangyayari doon na development sa bata. Nung una is alam niya lang on how to define the piano, but after how many weeks or months, talagang natuto na siya on how to play the piano. So that is development. Yung sa growth naman kanina, we refer the quantity. Like for example, the age, yun po. So quantity, yun naman sa development, may development na nangyayari or may progress na nangyayari. Alright, so what is maturation? Ito yung sagot natin kanina. Maturation is the physical, intellectual, emotional process of development. So take note ha, physical, intellectual, emotional, and the emotional process of development. So, nandun po, kung si growth ay quantity lang, si maturation ay quality and quantity. So, overall na siya. Means the ordinary development of growth and aging. So, habang tumatanda yung isang tao, that is what you call maturation. Okay, let's go back sa ating question. Okay, sabi, maturation should precede certain in types of learning. So, ilalagay siya natin sa types of learning. How is this applied in the classroom? So, paano yan ma-apply sa loob ng classroom? Of course, sa maturation, we refer to the quality and the quantity. So, the correct answer is letter C. Consider age level of students in teaching certain concepts. Diyan kasi, bilang teacher, kailangan mo i-consider yung age ranges ng mga bata. May mga bata kasi na grade 1 pa lang, pero yung age nila is something 15 years old. Di ba may nangyayari na ganon? Like, high school pa lang or like mga 30 na yung edad nila. So talagang, as a teacher, you have to consider the age level of your students. At doon, kapag na-consider mo na yun, magbibigay ka ng mga certain concepts, certain meaning iba-iba na konsepto, which means na para mas matutunan ng isang bata. Kasi nga po, yung lesson dapat naaayon sa edad ng isang bata. So, hindi naman pwede na grade 1. Okay, grade 1 and then yung age niya is 15 years old. And then magdi-discuss ka dyan ng mga Barbie, di ba? Hindi naman pwedeng ganun kasi it become boring to them kasi hindi nga po naaayon sa kanyang age. Okay, so the correct answer, maturation, consider age level of students in teaching certain concepts. Very good. Alright, tama po ba number 1? 1 check na, 1 point na agad. Okay, now let's move on to number 2. Alright, number 2 question. In terms of their emotional behavior, babies respond to strange and unusual objects with a general fear. Later, their fears become more specific and more characterized by different types of behavior. Which of the following principles is illustrated by the situation? Okay, let us first analyze, let us first understand the question. Okay, in terms of their emotional behavior daw, yung mga bata ay nagre-respond sa mga tao na hindi nila kilala with a general fear. So, ang konsepto nito is pangkabuuan, hindi lang isahan. So, yung una, ang bata ay nagre-respond in general fear. Like, for example, takot siya sa aso na isang aso lang. Pero pag nakita niya yung iba't ibang aso, magiging takot na siya. So, yun po ay general fear. Okay, later on, their fears become more specific. So, habang tumatanda sila or habang lumalaki sila, yung nararamdaman nilang fear ay nagiging mas specific. So, kung noon takot sila sa lahat ng aso, habang tumatanda sila, yung mga aso na kinatatakutan nila ay marunong na silang mag-specify. Like for example, takot lang sila sa ano bang mga uri ng aso? O takot lang sila sa mga aso na bulldog. O ganun lang yung kinatakutan nila. Yung ibang type ng aso, hindi sila takot doon. So, mas nagiging specific yung isang bagay habang lumalaki sila. Alright. And more characterized by different types of behavior. Just like for example, with a behavior. Ang tanong, which of the following principles is illustrated by this situation? So, alin daw dito yung nagdi-define sa situation? Letter A, development follows a general pattern. Letter B, development follows an orderly fashion. Letter C, development proceeds from general to specific responses. Letter D, development rate varies person to person. Alright, sa apat na options na yan, malalaman mo na talaga kung ano yung magiging sagot. Kasi go back with the question, may clue na ako na nahanap. So yung clue ko dyan is general and then specific. Diba kanina? Mas, yung una, yung bata ay in general siyang natatakot. Pero kalaunan ay mas specific na siyang natatakot sa mga bagay-bagay. So, alin po dito ang ating tamang sagot? General pattern po ba? Orderly fashion? General to specific responses? Or letter D, rate varies person to person? What's your answer? Okay, nakasagot na po. Ang ating tamang sagot for number 2 is no other than letter C. Alright, palakpakan inyong sarili kung nakakuha po kayo ng inyong tamang sagot. Alright, so bakit po letter C? Diba yung clue ko is general? Nag-umpisa sa general and then magtatapos sa specific. So letter C, development proceeds from general to specific responses. So dapat alam mo yan kasi lahat tayo ay nag-undergo sa ganyang responses. Nung bata tayo, talagang una pa lang ay parang natatakot tayo sa mga bagay-bagay in general. So, kapag, for example, sa doctor, takot ka sa doctor in general. Lahat na lang nakikita mo na nakaputi, natatakot ka na kasi yun nga in general nga, takot ka na. So, habang lumalaki ka, mas naiintindihan mo yung mga bagay-bagay na, magkaiba yung dentist, magkakaiba yung mga doctor sa brain, neuro, ano ba yun? Magkakaiba din yung doctor sa mga pets. So, alam mo na yung mga different kinds or types of doctors at alam mo na doon kung ano lang yung kinatakutan mo. So, that is general to specific. Very good. Letter C. Be careful ha, sa Prof Ed, meron tayong tinatawag na principles of human growth and development. Ito yung 9. So first, development is continuous. Meaning, yung development daw ng isang tao ay continuous yan. Habang ikaw ay nabubuhay, meaning, may mga natutunan ka, di ba? Sabi nga nila, learning never stops. So habang ikaw ay nabubuhay, talagang may natutunan ka. Even though nawala ka sa paaralan, di ba? Kahit na nasa bahay ka lang, kahit na nasa trabaho ka lang, talagang may natututunan ka. That is, development is continuous. Next, development is gradual. So, gradually, meaning, may mga steps yan. Development is gradual. Alright, so may mga steps. It means para din siyang number 1. The development is continuous process that is gradual and cumulative. So for example, a child learns to crawl, and then to stand, and then to walk. So that is gradually. Kung ang bata ay marunong mag-crawl, And then, marunong din siyang mag-stand sa kalaunan. And then, kapag marunong na siyang mag-stand, therefore, magiging marunong din siyang mag-walk. So, that is gradually. Development is sequential. May sequence. Parang parehas lang din sa 1 and 2 natin. May sequence dyan. Rate of development varies person to person. Yes, number 4 is very true talaga. Hindi lahat hindi lahat ng tao is pare-pareho yung ating development. Diba? Magkakaiba din yung development natin. Kasi meron mga tao, di ba, na parang may disabilities. Talagang nag-stop yung pag-develop nila. Like sa mga normal, when we compare to normal people and to sa mga disabilities na may mga tao. So yung ikaw ay normal, talagang yung development mo is sequential. Like for example, yung marunong ka na mag-stand, of course, next nun ay magiging marunong ka nang mag-walk. Unlike doon sa mga taong or sa mga baby na may kapansanan, syempre, may mga circumstances talaga na yung development nila is hanggang dun lang. Kasi nga po, ang sabi ay bawat tao, iba-iba yung development natin. So, just like for example, yun nga po, yung may disabilities compare sa mga normal people. So, nagbabago po. Alright. Next natin is development proceeds from general to specific. This is very true. This is our answer sa ating tanong kanina. Nag-umpisa po tayo sa general and then sa specific. Like, another example is that how we can move our body. Siyempre, mag-uumpisa tayo sa ating general na part dito sa body natin. And last is magiging marunong tayo on how to move our fingers, di ba, pagiging specific na. So, mag-umpisa tayo sa ating katawan and then come out to our specific parts, like our hands, magiging marunong tayo close open. So, ganun po siya. So, development proceeds from general to specific. Number 6, most traits are correlated in development. So, most traits daw ay magkarelasyon sa ating development. That is true naman. Alright. 7, growth and development is a product of both heredity and environment. Totoo to. It's versus nature versus nurture. So, pag-uusapan po natin later on yung nature versus nurture. So, heredity and environment. So, yung growth and development daw ng isang bata ay produkto yan ng heredity ng kanyang mga magulang and of course, the environment or the people that surrounds them. So, kung ikaw ay isang bata na mabait, maaaring produkto yan ng heredity mo, ng iyong mga magulang ay naging mabait din before, or produkto din yan ng environment mo, yung mga kahalubilo mo, yung mga friends mo, yung mga people that surrounds you, kung mga good sila, kung mga mababait sila, of course, maaapektuhan ka din kasi 'di ba? That is our growth and development. All right. So development is predictable, of course. Number 9, there is a constant interaction between all factors of development. So no more discussions, that all surrounds principles of human growth and development. Okay. Yung lumalabas talaga sa board exam is yung number 5, development proceeds from general to specific. Also, number 1, development is continuous. So, very good. Correct answer, letter C kanina. Alright, 3 points na agad. Wow, congratulations. 2 points. Number 2 pa lang tayo. Alright, 2 points na ba? Very good. Sana perfect later, ha? Now, let's move on with our number 3 question. Just a sort of advertisement. So, long test ngayon ng aking mga top dalat family. Hello po sa inyong lahat. Sana okay lang po kayo dyan. Hindi po ba kayo na-stress sa ating long test? Long test din po ng ating English majors dyan. So, good luck. Okay, number 3. Bella is wondering why at age 14 she has not menstruated yet, while her friend Rina experienced menarche at age of 12. Which of the following principle is applied in the situation? So, do you understand the question? Si Bella daw, nagwa-wonder kung bakit at age 14 hindi pa siya mini-menstruate. Samantala, yung friend niya na si Rina ay 12 years old pa lang, may menstruation na. So, bakit ba? So, alala si Wella, bakit hindi pa siya na may menstruate? Letter A, development rates vary. Ito yung kanina, yung development daw ay iba-iba. Letter B, development is continuous. Yung development daw ay continuous. Letter C, developmental pattern. May pattern. Letter D, developmental is predictable. Hindi mo mapipredict kung may meron ka or wala. Nakakatawa yung letter D. Alam nyo ba kung bakit? Kasi menstruated ang pinag-uusapan natin. So, as a human, as a tao, talagang ano ka na ba? Talagang na-outlook or may perception ka na bilang tao. Menstruation is a part of human life. So, out na natin si letter D. Development is predictable. Alright. Predictable. Yeah, you can predict this one. Okay. Developmental pattern, parang wala naman, no? Kasi yung pinag-uusapan natin is between Wella and Rina. Development is continuous. So, wala namang continuous dyan. Development rates vary. Ito yung letter A kanina, no? Ang sabi ko ay bawat tao, iba-iba yung development natin. Yung kung sa friend mo ay na-menstruate na siya at the age of 14, maaaring sa'yo hindi pa taon or hindi pa buo yung development mo na ma-menstruate ka na. So, iba-iba po. The correct answer with question number 3 is letter A. Alright, tama po. Letter A, development rates vary. So, tama naman po talaga na si Wella hindi pa nagkaka-menstruate at the age of 14, pero yung friend niya ay may menstruation na at the age of 12. So, maaring na yung friend mo ay talagang na-fulfill niya na yung development niya at yung sayo ay hindi pa. Talagang iba-iba yung types of development natin bilang tao. Alright, so congratulations. The correct answer is letter A. Palakpakan po ang inyong mga sarili. And now, let's move on with our next question. Number 4. My rationale ay here. Alright, number 4. Ready na? Okay. Anna comes to school on time because it is one of school's rules and regulations. Besides, she does not like to disrupt their class by coming late. Which level of Colbert morally does Anna belong? Alright. Letter A, universal. Letter B, conventional. Letter C, pre-conventional. Letter D, post-conventional. Okay, teachers, so tatanungin ko kayo nung nag-aaral pa kayo, anong klaseng estudyante ba kayo? Yung kayo po ba ay on time pumasok sa school or kayo po ay palaging late? So, ask yourselves, anong uri ng estudyante ka? At alam mo ba kung alin dyan yung, according to Colbert, kung aling level ka dyan na belong? Okay, si Anna, from the word Anna, parang angel, no? So, ayaw niya malate sa klase. Gusto niya palagi siyang on time pumasok. Okay, anong level yan ni Colbert? Letter A, universal. Letter B, conventional. Letter C, pre-conventional. Or letter D, post-conventional. The correct answer is letter B, conventional. Okay, bakit conventional? So, don't worry. I will discuss this one, universal, conventional, pre-conventional, and post-conventional. All you have to do is to take down notes. So, ang sagot natin sa question number 4 is letter B, conventional. Okay, here's the rationale. Conventional, performing right rules. Dito yung na-belong yung good boy, good girl orientation. Meeting the expectation of others. Another one is law and order, upholding laws to meet societal expectation. So yung sagot natin kanina dito is conventional. Since ayaw ni Ana na malate niya at ayaw niya din ma-distract yung klase sa pagiging late niya, siya ay nasa conventional. So, ang kalalabasan dyan is nagiging good boy, good girl orientation siya. Nagiging good girl siya kasi ayaw niya malate sa klase. And of course, she followed the law and order sa loob ng klase. So, as a teacher, isa sa mga rules natin ang hindi pagiging late. At meron din ang iba na mga teachers na nagpapatupad ng rule na kapag late ka, bawal ka nang pumasok. So, you have to wait for your next class. Yun po. So, that is law and order. So, that is conventional. Tandaan po natin kapag sa conventional, ang pagiging mabuti ng isang tao. Good boy, good girl, orientation. And then, ang pag-follow ng mga batas, law and order. So, that is conventional. Okay, sa letter A natin kanina, universal. Under dyan is ang post-conventional. So, yung universal ay under niya yung post-conventional. Kapag sinabi natin post-conventional, shared standards, rights, duties, and principle. So, yun nga po, you're sharing your standards, you're sharing your rights and duties sa isang lugar. We have social contract, personal values to achieve social conscious, and of course, universal ethical principle, self-selection of universal moral principles. So, tandaan naman po natin na kapag sa post-conventional, yung mga rights, duties, mga standards ay you share that to others. So, we have social contract, it's about social people. Also have universal ethical principles wherein nag-sharing tayo dyan ng iba't ibang rights and duties sa ating pang-universal. Alright. Next is pre-conventional. That is letter C kanina. Ano po yung pre-conventional? This pre-conventional values and external events. So, involved natin dyan sa pre-conventional ang obedience versus punishment, acting to avoid punishment, and individualism versus exchange, acting to further one's own self-interest. Alright, sa pre-conventional, meron din akong nabasa sa Prof Ed na sa pre-conventional, dyan ka na magbibigay ng mga rewards, di ba? Alright, so dito naman sa pre-conventional, you have your obedience versus punishment. So, to avoid punishment, ano ba yung dapat mong gawin? Of course, you have to be obedient. Dito naman, individualism versus exchange. So, acting to further one's own self-interest. So, that is pre-conventional. So, yun po siya. Go back with our question number 4. Universal, dito na po siya na-include sa post-conventional. So, isa lang po yan, yung conventional kanina. Good girl, good boy, and diba? Universal, ethical, law and order. Okay. Good boy, good girl, and law and order. Pre-conventional naman kanina is about values, external events, yung obedience versus punishment. And of course, sa ating post-conventional, yun kanina yung mga social interactions na you are shared by one another. Alright, so for question number 4, the correct answer is letter B. Very good. Tama po, for ano na, 4 correct answers na. Wow, congratulations! Now, let's move on with our question number 5. Malapit na pala yung board exam, August 24. So, I hope na nakapag-file na kayo and may NOA na kayo para ready na sa darating na board exam. And of course, para hindi kayo malito, yung mga dadalhin nyo sa araw ng board exam. Of course, ipapasok nyo na po yan sa envelope. Alright. Para ready na. Number 5. Around this age, the child begins to toilet train, which brings about the child's fascination in the erogenous zone of anus. Bongga. Alam na alam? Again. Number 5. Around this age, the child begins to toilet train, which brings about the child's fascination in the erogenous zone of the anus. Is it letter A, anal stage, letter B, phallic stage? Okay. So number 5 question, dito daw, sa stage na ito, yung bata, alam niya na, kung may ano pa, may mga advertisement. Okay, again. Sa number 5, alam na ng bata kung paano gumamit ng toilet things. So, alam niya na kung paano gamitin yun. Anong level siya? Is it anal stage or is it phallic stage? Later, i-discuss natin yung anal and phallic. So, sagot muna kayo dyan. The correct answer is for number 5, letter anal or phallic? Toilet, ha? Okay. Letter A, anal stage. Bakit anal stage? So, ito na nga po, teachers. Sa anal stage, yung age range dito is 18 months to 3 years old. So, very baby pa. The child learns to respond to some of the demands of society such as bowel and bladder control. So, dito, marunong na sila or talagang nag-start na yung ability nila kung paano mag-CR ng sila lang. So, nagpupupo sila, nag-iihi sila, and they learn how to use toilet. Yung word natin kanina na anal, ano po ba yung first word na parang tumatak sa isipan nyo? Of course, yung anal, anus. Di ba? Yung bole, ano ba yun? Puwet? Alright. Anal, anus. Okay. Fixation. So, dito din na-involve yung anal retentive and anal expulsive. So, what's the difference between the two? Anal retentive, obsessively organized or excessively neat. So, anal retentive, yung pagiging malinis ng isang bata or pagiging organized niya. Hirap pala sa Filipino na organisado, or basta organized. So, at pagiging malinis ng isang bata. So, that is anal retentive. Kapag naman po anal expulsive, ito yung pagiging reckless, o bahala ka na dyan, o pagiging careless, defiant, disorganized. So, dito sa anal retentive, pagiging malinis, good. Dito naman sa anal expulsive, pagiging disorganized or bahala ka na dyan, o wala akong pake kung hindi malinis, wala akong pake kung hindi organized. So, that is bad. Okay. Habang tayo ay tumatanda, di ba parang nai-exhibit pa rin natin yung anal retentive and anal expulsive, tama? Kasi may mga tao na masyadong organized, masyadong malinis, di ba? They are anal retentive. At may mga tao naman na parang wala lang pake, pagiging disorganized, bahala ka dyan o kalat-kalat, that is anal expulsive. So, parang ganun po siya. So, sa stage po na yan ay anal stage. Yung kanina letter B, phallic stage, ano naman po ito? Phallic is 3 to 6 years old. The child learns to realize the differences between males and females and becomes aware of sexuality. So, sa phallic stage, yung mga bata daw ay alam na nila sa self nila on the differences between male and females. So, alam nila kung babae sila or lalaki sila. So, dyan po nangyayari sa stage na yan, phallic stage. Under ni phallic stage, yung Oedipus and Electra complex. When we say Oedipus complex, what does it mean? It means that male children sexually desire their mother's possessive love. Yung Electra complex naman po, female children sexually desire their father. Ang bilis lang po tandaan ng Oedipus complex and yung Electra complex. Kapag sinabi nating Oedipus, di ba po panglalaki na pangalan? Alright, so kapag panglalaki na pangalan, tatandaan lang natin dito, batang lalaki. Alright, batang lalaki. BL. Oedipus complex, batang lalaki. So, yung batang lalaki, na-o-obsess siya sa kanyang nanay. So, parang may affection siya sa kanyang nanay. Gusto niya palagi nakasama niya yung nanay niya. Ayaw niya sa tatay niya. So, gusto niya, tsapera niya yung tatay niya. Gusto niya lang yung nanay niya. That is Oedipus complex. Yung Electra complex naman po, kapag sinabi nating Electra, pang babae naman. Batang babae, BB, batang babae, Electra complex. Yung dito naman po, tandaan natin na yung batang babae, gusto niya makasama yung father niya. So, ayaw niyang makasama yung mother niya. Gusto niya, lagi niyang nakikita yung tatay niya. Alright, tatay niya kasi may desire siya sa kanyang tatay. So, di ba parang nakakatawa kasi excuse me. Kasi nung mga bata po tayo, ganyan tayo. Alright. So habang tayo ay lumalaki, parang doon lang tayo na-realize natin na parang, ay, ganun pala ako nung bata ako. So, for example, ako batang babae, may affection, parang yung desire for my father, parang ganon. So, ewan ko lang, hindi ko na siya matandaan if that really happens to me. Alright. So, that is phallic stage and anal stage. So, kapag sinabi natin anal stage, dito po yung ating pagiging malinis, pagiging disorganized, or organized, at natututo tayo dito on how to process or use the toilet very well, paano siya gamitin. At dito naman po sa phallic stage natin nangyayari yung Electra and Oedipus complex. Alright. Ewan ko ba't di ko kanina nagamit yung pen. So, okay na po siya. So, the answer with our question number 5 is letter A, anal stage, toilet. Alright. Ano nangyayari sa pen? Hindi siya nagamit. Okay na. Naglulo ko yung pen ko. Wala ng ink. Alright, so let's move on with our question. Question number 6. May nagkamali na sa 5 question natin or perfect? Comment nyo po ha sa ating video mismo para alam ko po. Thank you. Alright, so now let's move on with number 6 question. Teacher Joy noticed that one of her students is fond of biting the tip of the ball pen. Which theory will best explain her student's behavior? Letter A, fraud, psychosexual theory. Letter B, cognitive theory. Letter C, Pavlov's classical theory. Alright. So, si teacher daw ay na-notice na isa sa mga bata niya ay fond of biting the tip of the ballpen. Parang ganito. Di ba, nung mga bata tayo, parang ganito din tayo. Parang ganyan. Di ba, parang kinakain natin yung ballpen natin. Tapos, meron din nga lapis, di ba? Yung eraser, pudpud na pudpud sa kakabite natin. So, bakit daw? Anong theory yan tayo nag-e-explain? Letter A, Freud's psychosexual theory. Letter B, cognitive theory. Or letter C, Pavlov's classical conditioning. The correct answer is letter. Alright, very good. Letter A, right. Freud's psychosexual theory. Ano po ba ang sinasabi ni Freud dito? Freud. Yung fraud, parang fried chicken. Kaya nasabi kong Freud. Nagugutom na. Fried chicken. Okay, fraud. Fraud, psychosexual theory. So, dito, tatandaan natin yung old age pensioners lack genitals, oral stage, anal stage, phallic stage, latency stage, genital stage. So, ito yung kabuuan kanina na sa question natin na may anal stage at may phallic stage. So, sa Freud's psychosexual theory, pwede din nating tandaan yung OA palagi. That is, or pwede din naman old age pensioners lack genitals. So, that, ayun yung pagkakasunod-sunod nila. OA palagi. Alright. So, sa board exam kasi, may question minsan, ano yung pagkakasunod-sunod ng theory ni Freud? That is OA palagi. Oral stage, anal stage, phallic stage, latency stage, genital stage. Alright. So, the question, sa number 6, ang correct answer natin ay letter A, Freud psychosexual theory. Yung ano pala, yung experience natin na parang kinakagat-kagat natin yung ganito, yung mga dulo ng pencil, yung eraser, or yung ballpen man, that is na belong siya sa oral stage, diba? With the use of our tongue, that is oral stage. Kapag sinabi naman natin anal stage, of course, sa anus natin, on how we can vowel, or we can use the toilet, so parang ganun po siya. And letter B, Piaget's cognitive theory. Siyempre, hindi kanina involve yung cognitive theory. Kapag sinabi natin cognitive theory, by Piaget, it is refers to the mind or to the brain. Alright. Cognitive development describes how these mental processes develop from birth until adulthood. In other words, what kind of cognitive skill is a 4-year-old child capable of compared to a 6-year-old child? Alright? So, nagtanong siya, ano daw yung kayang gawin in terms of cognitive abilities ng 4-year-old na bata sa 6-year-old na bata. So, kung ikaw ang tatanungin ko, ano ba yung kayang gawin ng isang 4-year-old sa 6-year-old? Siyempre, sa 6 years old, kaya na nilang mag-think talaga ng mas abstract compared sa 4-year-old. So, ganun po siya. The acquisition of the ability to think, reason, and problem solve. It is the process by which people's thinking changes across the lifespan. Piaget studied cognitive development by observing children in particular to examine how their thought processes change with age. So, yung theory pala ni Piaget, ginawa niya ito kasi gusto niyang malaman kung ano yung kayang gawin ng isang bata habang siya ay habang siya ay tumatanda. Kung ano ang kaya niyang isipin kasi careful cognitive tayo. So kung anong kaya niyang isipin habang siya ay tumatanda. 'Di ba? Pero yung may mga disabilities na mga tao talagang, of course, they cannot think the way how we think as a normal being. So, yun nga, kasi kanina yung development varies from person to person. So, kapag sinabi natin cognitive development, that is Piaget. Kapag sinabi natin psychosexual, that is Freud. Huwag niyong kakalimutan yung Freud chicken. Freud. Psychosexual. Alright. Next one is, parang bumalik ako dito sa anal. Classical conditioning by Pavlov. Classical conditioning refers to learned behaviors that occur when a neutral stimulus is associated with a learned response. So dito po sa classical conditioning, tandaan po natin yung stimulus and response. Yung stimulus and response. So for example, sa dogs, many dog owners will use a leash, yung, ano yung Tagalog ng higo? Yung tali. Many dog owners will use a leash or yung tali po whenever they take their dog for a walk. Okay. So may mga tao talaga na gumagamit ng tali kapag sila ay lumalabas ng bahay kasama ang kanilang mga aso. After a short while, the dog has learned to going outside, means wearing the leash. So yung aso, parang natututo na every time na lumabas sila ng kanilang amo, ay tinatalian sila. So, alam na nung aso na kapag lumabas na sila, may tali sila. So, ang yung possibilities dito ay yung parang tatahol yung aso na gusto niyang talian siya or gusto niyang kunin yung kanyang leash. From the dog's perspective, leash equals going outside. So, alam niyo ng aso na kapag kinuha ng amo yung leash niya or yung tali niya, alam niya na lalabas na sila. That is stimulus versus response. Right. Now, every time the owner touches the leash, the dog gets excited. So, yun nga po, alam niya na stimulus versus response. Like for example, another example po ay yung aso ulit. Yung bell, yung ginamit talaga dito kasi ni Pavlov is yung bell. So una, gagamit siya ng bell at kapag tumunog yung bell, pakakainin niya na yung aso. So yun, bell, patutunogin niya yung bell at pakakainin niya na yung aso. So ginagawa niya yun araw-araw at yung aso is natututo na kapag tumunog yung bell, dapat ay pumunta na siya sa kanyang amo para kumain kasi yung bell, tunog ng bell is a sign na kakain na yung aso. So kapag tumunog yun, the dog got excited kasi siya ay kakain na. So that is stimulus versus response by Pavlov. Alright, yung kasama ni Pavlov is si Skinner. The operant conditioning, yung rewards natin, tatandaan natin dyan na kapag positive yung reward, it strengthen. Okay, kapag positive yung reward, it strengthen. Kapag negative naman, nagiging weak lang. Nagiging weak, pero hindi siya nawawala yung reward. Okay. Let's move on with our question number 7. Okay, yung ganitong question is kanina natakol ko na. So again, number 7. According to Freud, the unconscious love and sexual desire of male children for their mother is called, okay, wag nang magpatumpik-tumpik pa, boom, kara-karaka, sabi nga ni Vice Ganda. Kapag nakita mo yung bata na lalaki, ano yung iisipin mo? Kapag batang lalaki, dapat yung pangalan is panglalaki. So, is it Electra or is letter B, Oedipal complex? Lalaki, that is letter B, very good. Alright, Oedipal complex. Or Oedipus. The Oedipus complex, anxious desire for the mother, the boy wants to command her complete attention. So kapag sa Oedipus complex, yung batang lalaki, yun nga po sabi ko kanina, gusto niya yung nanay niya, sa kanya lang yung attention. So gusto niya na yung tatay niya umalis. So para masolo niya yung attention ni nanay niya, yung love, yung care. Recognition of the father as a rival. So parang nag-think sila na yung father nila is rival nila, talagang enemy nila sa attention ng nanay. hostility and aggression directed towards the father. In his book Totem and Taboo, Freud explained the origins of the Oedipal complex. So if you have time, you have to read the book of Freud entitled Totem and Taboo. Basta po, tatandaan natin na kapag sa Oedipus complex, batang lalaki ang involved dyan. Alright, paano gagawin? Yung batang lalaki, gusto niya yung attention ng nanay niya is sa kanya lang. So, yung tatay niya naman is parang enemy niya dyan or nagiging rival niya sa attention ng nanay niya. Kapag sinabi naman po nating Electra complex, batang babae naman po dyan. Yung Electra na term is pang babae, so for girls. So, parang katulad din siya ng Oedipus complex. Yung batang babae, ayaw niya na palaging nandun yung nanay niya. Gusto niya na yung tatay niya lang yung magiging kasama niya all the time. Gusto niya yung attention ni tatay niya sa kanya, yung love, yung care. So, yung nanay niya is parang rivalry din nila. Alright, so. A girl feels cheated that she has no penis. Like the male of the species, they substitute the desire for a penis with the desire for a baby. Okay, so yun po ang ating Oedipus and Electra complex. Now, let's move on with our question number 8. Which of the following, wala na naman yung pen ko. Which of the following criteria can be used to define intellectual disabilities? Be careful tayo minsan sa let, talagang paiikutin ka ng tanong. Especially yung mga NAT, be careful kayo dyan. NOT, yung mga NAT, alin doon ang NAT, yung mga disabilities, yung negative positive, be careful kayo. Kasi nakakalito nga po yun kapag hindi nyo siya ina-analyze at iniintindi ng mabuti. Okay, so with our question number 8, hahanapan natin dyan yung nagdi-define ng intellectual disabilities. Disabilities, alright ha? Be careful ha? Letter A, significantly below average intellectual functioning. Letter B, impairments in adaptive functioning generally. Letter C, these deficits should be manifest before the age of 18 years old. Or letter D, all of the above. So, alin dyan? Lahat ba sila? Or may isa lang dyan na nagdi-define ng intellectual disabilities? Yung intellectual disabilities, I will define that later. Sagot-sagot muna kayo, teachers. Okay, time's up. The correct answer with our question number 8 is letter D, all of the above. So, lahat po yan ay nagdi-define ng intellectual disabilities. Now, let us define what is intellectual disabilities. Intellectual disability is a term used when there are limits to a person's ability to learn at an expected level and function in daily life. So, kung ikaw daw ay isang tao na may limit lang ang iyong pagkakatuto, especially kung yung edad mo ay hindi naaayon sa ability mong mag-isip, you have your intellectual disability. Levels of intellectual disability vary greatly in children. So, iba-iba yan sa mga kabataan. Children with intellectual disability might have a hard time letting others know their wants and needs and taking care of themselves. So, be careful. Yung mga bata daw na may intellectual disabilities, mahihirapan yung mga tao, yung mga tatay at nanay nila na intindihin sila, mahihirapan din sila na kilalanin kung ano yung mga wants and needs ng isang bata, and at the same time, mahihirapan din talaga sila na i-taking care sila. Kasi imagine yung intellectual disability, parang dyan na magsisimula yung mga iba't ibang disabilities ng bata. Hindi po ba? Natatandaan nyo, we have autism, ADHD, and many more. But that is intellectual disability lang po yung pinag-uusapan natin dito. So it may be an intellectual capacity lang ng isang bata. So yun po. So kapag may kilala kayo na yung bata is nahihirapan nga intindihin yung isang bagay, so wag nyo po yun ibaliwala, but instead, help them para mas ma-undergo sila on certain treatments. So that is letter D, all of the above po yung answer natin. So go back. Significantly below average intellectual functioning. So tama nga po kasi the word is below. Impairments in adopted. The word impairments talagang it gives you negative perspective na. So true. These deficits should be manifest before the age of 18 years. So the word these deficits, it also gives you the clue na may disabilities nga ang isang bata. At ang sabi pa sa letter C, dapat daw before 18 years ay mas mas ma-overcome niya na yung defects na yun. So, very good. The correct answer is letter D. 8 points na po ba agad? Perfect na or may mali? So, that is okay po. At least natuto. At least, kapag sa board exam na, alam na yung isasagot niyo. Okay, now let's move on. Number 9. Question. Down syndrome is a blank disorder. Letter A, chromosomal. Letter B, 6-link. Letter C, incomplete dominance. Letter D, single gene. Alam niyo po ba yung Down syndrome? Down syndrome is a blank disorder. Ano po bang disorder yun? So dito is a chromosomal, 6-link, incomplete dominance, or letter D, single gene. The correct answer is hello sa ating mga top dalet family dyan. Busy sila sa pag-take ng kanilang long test. So sa lahat po ng nakakapanood ng ating video, you can message me po para makasali kayo sa ating top dalet family sa amin pong GC. So para po mas guide ko pa po kayo at makakuha rin po kayo of course ng mga materials ng top dalet. So message nyo lang po ako sa aking FB page or sa aking personal account. Joylyn or sa aking YouTube, pwede din Coach Joy, Online Let Review, sa aking Facebook, Top Dalet by Coach Joy. So pwede nyo po ako doon i-message. Okay, so go back with our question. The correct answer is letter A. Alright, chromosomal. Down syndrome is a chromosomal disorder. Bakit chromosomal? Ito na po siya. Down syndrome, also called trisomy 21. Yung ibang pangalan po ng Down syndrome is trisomy 21. Parang nagiging low yung camera. Alright. So it is a condition in which a person is born with extra chromosomes. Di ba po ba yung normal na tao, we have our own chromosomes? Just hold on. Okay, so as a normal being, how many chromosomes do we have? In our human body, we have 46 chromosomes. So pair kasi yun, 23 each. So kapag pair, 46, that is our chromosomes that involved in our human body. So yun po kapag normal ka, 46. So kapag ikaw ay may Down syndrome, you have extra chromosomes. So, mas mataas yung chromosomes mo. It's a genetic disorder that involves birth defects, intellectual disabilities, characteristic facial features. It often involves heart defects, visual and hearing impairments, and other health problems. So, be careful kapag ang bata ay may Down syndrome, hindi lang pala intellectual yung absence sa kanya. Maaring hindi siya makakita, maaring hindi siya makarinig, may defect din siya sa heart, and many more. So talagang ang hirap ng sakit na may Down syndrome. Okay, so go back. Down syndrome, tandaan natin, chromosomes lang po dyan ang ating clue. Hindi 6-link, hindi incomplete dominance, hindi single gene, kundi chromosomes ang pag-uusapan kapag Down syndrome, or also known as trisomy, not trisomy ha, trisomy 21. Alright, very good. Good job, good job. Now let's move on with number 10 question. Hanggang 15 items po tayo. So, dapat po nagsusulat po kayo ng inyong sagot. And para po later after this video, you can comment your score. So that alam ko kung saan po kayo hindi nyo alam yung tanong or saan kayo weak dyan. Alright, so let's go back with our question number 10. In learning disabilities, the name for mathematical disorder is, mabilis lang po itong sagutin. Mathematical disorder ang clue. Dyspraxia, dyslexia, dyscalculia, or dysgraphia. Mathematical disorder ang clue. Ang tamang sagot natin ay walang iba kundi letter C. Very good. Dyscalculia. Okay, i-define natin ang bawat isa nito. Let's go first with the dyscalculia. Dyscalculia are problems with arithmetic and math concepts. So, kapag ang bata ay may dyscalculia, so take note yun na siya ay nahihirapan mag-analyze ng mga math problems, ng mga solving problem, magbilang, nahihirapan din siya doon, or anything na may math concept. So, that is dyscalculia. How about dyslexia? Kapag naman po dyslexia, a language and reading disability. So, nahihirapan po silang magbasa. Yun po, magbasa lang. Magbasa ng isang text or anything. Basta po, may language and reading disability. So, parang kabaliktaran ng dyscalculia yung dyslexia, hindi po ba? Kasi kapag dyscalculia, nahihirapan ka sa mga math. Dyslexia, nahihirapan ka namang magbasa. And yung last is dysgraphia. Kapag sinabi natin dysgraphia, nahihirapan ka naman pong magsulat. So, may isa pa po tayong learning disabilities, yung dyspraxia. Okay, dyspraxia is an impairment or immaturity in the organization or movement which leads to associated problems with language perception and thought. Or parang the same lang po siya sa ating dyslexia and dysgraphia kasi it's about problems with language, perception, and thought. So, yung dyspraxia, nahihirapan kang intindihin yung isang language. Or yung sinasabi ng mga tao, yun po. Para din siyang dyslexia. Yung dyslexia, nahihirapan magbasa. Alright. So, again, dyspraxia, nahihirapan intindihin ang language. Para din po siyang dyslexia. Dyslexia, nahihirapan magbasa. Dyscalculia, nahihirapan intindihin yung mga math problems, yung mga math concepts. Dysgraphia, nahihirapan magsulat. Okay, so, nung mga bata tayo, talagang na-undergo din natin yan kahit konti. Hindi po ba? So may mga weaknesses din tayo when it comes to learning disabilities. Okay, so now let's move on with our question number 11. Malapit na po tayong matapos. Okay, question number 11. A branch of psychology that studies how people grow and change throughout the course of their lives is letter A, social psychology, letter B, biological psychology, letter C, developmental psychology, or letter D, behavioral psychology. Hanapin niyo muna yung clue sa question number 11 bago kayo sumagot. Anong branch daw ng psychology na nag-study ng grow and change? In grow and change, that is your clue. Social, biological, developmental, or behavioral? The correct answer for question number 11 is letter. Anong bet nyo, teachers? Letter C. Alright, developmental psychologist. Siyempre, grow and change ang pinag-uusapan natin dyan. Of course, we will go to developmental psychology. Tama? Or may nagkamali pa po? Okay, what is developmental psychology? So, examining the physical, mental, and social changes that occur throughout the life cycle. So, that is developmental. Basta po may development na involved sa iyong physical, sa iyong mental, or even sa mga social changes. So, yung major issues natin dito sa developmental is yung sinabi ko kanina na nature versus nurture. Yung nature versus nurture, para din siyang nature, heredity, and yung nurture is yung mga taong involved sa'yo or your social. Okay, nature versus nurture. Studies changes that occur from infancy to old age. Kapag may developmental, take note, may changes na nangyayari at may grow na nangyayari. Kuha? Alright. Now, another option is we go to letter B kanina, biological psychology. So, biological psychology is a branch of psychology that investigates the biological and physiological processes that underlie behavior and mental processes. So, kapag pag-uusapan mo dyan, yung behavior mo and yung mental processes mo, doon ka sa biological psychology. It examines the relationship between the brain and behavior as well as the genetic, biochemical, and neural basis of human and animal behavior. So, biological, hindi lang po tao, pati na rin po yung animal behaviors ay pwede mo dyan pag-aralan because it says that it refers to human and animal behavior. So that is biological psychology. So basahin lang po natin ang halimbawa. Isang halimbawa dito is the study of neurobiological basis or of depression and the development of antidepressant drugs that target specific neurotransmitter systems. So dito, nagbigay siya ng halimbawa na yung study daw ng mga gamot, kung paano gamutin yung mga may depression, and on how to target specific neurotransmitter system. So, dyan, study sila ng behavior or magiging solution nila sa basis depression of the development of antidepressants. Again, biological psychology, pag-uusapan mo dyan ang human and animal behavior. Yan lamang po. Next is behavioral psychology. Very, very self-explanatory kasi sa behavior palang alam na. Okay. Behavior psychology is a field of psychology that focuses on the study of behaviors and how they are learned and changed. Within this field, we can identify a range of behaviors that each have unique causes, intentions, or consequences. So yung ibang tao, as you can see, nagbabago yung kanilang mga behaviors. Yes, it changes and it changes over time po talaga. So nagbabago po yun at may dahilan yun. So yun nga po, may mga consequences na involved. Examples of behavior in psychology include overt and covert, conscious and unconscious, rational and irrational, and ethical and unethical behavior. So, ito po yung iba't ibang examples ng behaviors ng ibang tao. Basta tandaan, kapag behavioral psychology, we all talk about behaviors of a person. Okay, so kapag sinabi nating behavioral psychology, sino po yung psychologist na very known dyan? Si JB, si JW, John B. Watson. Alright, kapag behavioral, known dyan si John B. Watson. Now, let's move on with number 12. Konti pa lang nagsasend ng mga scan sheet sa GC. So, talagang focus na focus ng ating mga top dalat family dyan sa pagsasagot sa long test namin ngayon. So, again, sa mga gustong sumali, message lang po ako. Thank you so much. Now, let's move on to number 12 question. A developmental issue concerned with whether an individual is a product of his or her genes or of his or her culture. Letter A, prenatal and postnatal. Letter B, nature and nurture. Letter C, continuity and stage. Letter D, stability and change. Yung clue natin is naka-highlighted na. Produkto po siya ng kanyang genes and ng culture niya or mga tao na that surrounds his or him. So, if you are listening, kanina, pag-usapan na po natin ito. The correct answer for number 12 is letter B, nature and nurture. Bakit po letter B? Kasi nga po yung clue natin is genes. Kapag sinabi natin genes, nature yan. Nature ng mga magulang. Kapag sinabi naman natin culture, nurture yan. Nurture, kasi nga po, yung nakabase yan sa mga taong nakapalibot sa'yo. That is nature versus nurture. Okay, so, na-define ko na po yung nature versus nurture. So, ano lang po yung include sa nature natin? This includes physical characteristics such as eye color, facial features, personality traits, and behavioral tendencies. Yes, that is true. Kasi yung nature kasi mostly, kapag yung tatay mo ay kano, di ba foreign, kapag tatay mo ay foreigner, mostly sa mga bata nila ay na-adapt nila yung nose na matangos or yung mata na color blue. So, ganun po yung nature. Talagang inherited po yan. So, namamana po nila yung trait ng tatay nila. Or may possibilities din na mamanahin niya yung sa nanay niya, which is Pinay. Okay, so mamanahin niya. Another is nurture. So kapag sinabi naman natin nurture, this includes a variety of influences such as parenting style, educational experiences, and cultural background. So that is influences with other people that surrounds you. That is nurture. So habang lumalaki ang isang tao or isang bata, talagang mas siguro kapag i-rate ko, nature is 30%, tas yung nurture is 70%. Diba? Yung lalo na yung mga millennials natin ngayon, talagang mas, yung basis talaga nila is yung mga taong nakapalibot sa kanila. So, 70% sa nurture, 30% sa nature for me. All right, now let's move on with number 13. 13 na tayo. Okay. The conflicts faced by an individual at every stage of psychological development are called, ano daw yung tawag or yung, yung tawag sa conflicts. Yung clue ko dito is conflicts na hinaharap natin at every stage of psychological development. Letter A, equilibrium. Letter B, changes. Letter C, crisis. Or letter D, confusion. Ano po yung sagot ninyo? Okay. When we are talking about psychological development, kilalang kilala natin dito sino? Si Jean-Jacques Rousseau. May isa din, si John B. Watson. Yes. Jean-Jacques Rousseau and si John B. Watson. Hindi ko na alam paano sumulat. Okay, John. Ang hirap ng pen. John B. Watson. Tandaan niyo po, isulat niyo na lang po ha. Sa psychological development, yung known talaga na psychologist natin dito is si Jean-Jacques Rousseau at si John B. Watson. So again, go back with the question. Anong tawag mo doon sa conflicts? Letter A, equilibrium. B, changes. C, crisis. D, confusion. Yung sagot is talagang andun na sa tanong. Correct answer, letter C. Very good. Crisis. Kasi nga po, conflicts, di ba? O may nangyayari dyan na conflict na may away-away. Of course, dun ka sa crisis. Okay. During each stage, the person experience a psychological crisis. So, yung mga tao daw ay nakaka-experience ng crisis, iba't ibang crisis that could positively or negatively affect personality development. It depends on how you take it, positively or negatively. So for Erickson 1958 to 1963, these crises are psychosocial because they involve the psychological needs of the individual. Example, the psycho, conflicting with the needs of society, social. Okay, psycho, needs of individual, social needs of society, psycho-social. Ito po yung stages between psychosocial. We're talking about psychosocial. Yes. Psychosocial stages. We have infancy, early childhood, play age, school age, adolescence, early adulthood, middle age, old age. Okay, sige, pag-uusapan natin sa infancy, yung conflict na nangyayari dyan is trust versus mistrust. So, yung kapag na-attain ng isang bata, yung ganyang conflict, mabubuo sa kanya yung hope. Okay. For example, sa trust versus mistrust, ako ay isang bata at may mga nakilala akong mga tao na hindi ko kilala, hindi ko masyadong nakikita araw-araw sa aking paningin. So, I will parang magmi-mistrust ako or hindi ako masyadong mag-trust sa mga tao noon. Okay, so that is mistrust. Hindi ko masyadong na-meet, so mistrust. So for example, na-meet ko naman yung nanay at tatay ko, which is nakikita ko sila araw-araw. Of course, madi-develop yung aking trust. Okay, ganun lang po siya sa trust versus mistrust. And yung ma-develop dyan is hope. Next is autonomy versus shame and doubt. Yung ma-develop mo naman dito kapag na-overcome mo ay will. Okay, so sa description, develop a sense of independence in many tasks. So dito sa 1 to 3 years old, ako yung bata na ayaw ko ng may katulong. So, kung may gagawin akong isang bagay, gusto ko ako lang. So you develop your sense of independence. So that is autonomy versus shame and doubt. you have your will to do your own task. Okay. So next is initiative versus guilt. Kapag na-overcome ko naman po ito, yung made-develop ay purpose. So it take initiative on some activities, may develop a guilt when you unsuccessful or boundaries overstep. So sa initiative versus guilt, ako yung bata na nagtitake initiative na gawin yung ibang bagay without the command of another people, of my mother and father. So, may initiative po ako na gawin. At kapag yung bagay na yun is unsuccessful or hindi ko siya nagawa ng tama or ng mabuti, made-develop sa akin yung guilt. Okay, yung guilt ko. Ay, bakit di ko siya nagawa? Nag-guilt ako. So, parang ganun po siya. So, kapag na-overcome ko naman, of course, the virtue of purpose, talagang ma-develop ko siya dyan. Alright, now let's go with industry versus inferiority. Kapag na-overcome ko siya, I have the virtue of competence. Develop self-confidence in abilities when competent or sense of inferiority when not. Okay, sa industry versus inferiority, dapat dyan may self-confidence ako na gawin ang isang bagay. Kapag may self-confidence ako na sabihin ko, ay, kaya ko to. So, I would be able to be competent enough kapag may self-confidence ako. That is industry. Kapag naman po hindi ko na-develop yung self-confidence ko na gawin ang isang bagay, of course, the sense of inferiority will develop. So, I will be asking myself, why? Saan ako nagkulang? Parang ganun. Okay, so self-confidence is very important sa ating industry versus inferiority. Next one is identity versus confusion. Ito talaga yung pinaka-favorite. Char. Okay, so when you overcome this one, you will develop the fidelity. So identity versus confusion, experiment with and develop identity and roles. So, mostly na-develop ito is yung mga bata or yung mga edad 12 to 18 years old. So, yung nasa high school years na po. Okay. So, sa pagtungtong mo sa high school, marami kang mga estudyante, kaibigan na nahahalubilo. Iba't ibang gender yan. So, of course, we're not biased here. We're not gender biased. So, we have male, female, and any gender. So, doon, madidevelop mo po yung identity versus confusion mo. For example, ikaw ay isang boy and yung mga friend mo is very fond ka sa mga friend mo na mga gay. So, as a result, dahil nakakasama mo sila araw-araw, and parang you have a confusion to yourself as a gender in your gender. So mapapatanong ka sa sarili mo, what kind of person I am? Parang ganon. So anong gender meron ka? So that is identity versus confusion. Kaya nga po mas maraming mga tao na nag-out pagtungtong nila sa high school kasi doon mas nakikilala na nila yung sarili nila kung ano po talaga sila. So that is identity versus confusion. Next, we have intimacy versus isolation. And when you overcome this one, you will, the virtue you have is love. So, establish intimacy and relationship with others. So, dito naman po sa intimacy versus isolation, ang edad po natin dito is 19 to 29 years old. So, dito na po na-involve yung mga boyfriend, girlfriend. Kung gusto mo, you have to isolate yourself or you will have into a relationship. So, that is intimacy versus isolation, wherein yung mga relationships ay with other people ay involved dyan. So, okay. So, meron nga po, di ba, 30 years old, so walang karelasyon. So, depende kasi yan. Okay, depende sa trip mo. Meron nga elementary pero may relasyon na, di ba? Hindi pa nakaabot sa intimacy versus isolation. So, depende sa trip ng isang tao. Lalo na yung mga millennials, grabe yan sila. Okay, so now let's go to middle age, generativity versus stagnation. So, kapag na-overcome mo ito, you will have the care. Contribute to society and be part of family. Okay. Sa middle age, yung age naman dito is 30 to 64 years. Sa ganyang stage kasi, parang hindi mo iniisip yung boyfriend, girlfriend, yung iniisip mo na dyan is on how to build a family. Family na po ang iniisip nyo. That is generativity versus stagnation. So, sa ganyang age nga po, mostly nagme-marriage things na sila. So, being part of the family na po talaga yung involved dyan sa ating generativity versus stagnation. Kasi yung virtue dati na involved dyan is care. That is care to other people, to your family, yung mabibuild mo. Okay. So yung last one natin is the old age. Integrity versus despair. Yung virtue na involved naman is wisdom. So, sa integrity versus despair, assess and make sense of life and meaning of contributions. So, dito matanda na po tayo. Okay, 65 age na po pataas. So, parang iisipin mo na dito ano yung naging contribution mo nung nasa panahon ka pa na bata pa. Yun po, parang nag-think ka na the meaning of contributions as a human being. So, yun po, yung 65 years old, talagang nag-iisip-isip ka na ng mga bagay. So, yun po ang kay Erickson psychosocial stages. So, pakintandaan po yung trust versus mistrust, autonomy versus shame and doubt, initiative versus guilt, industry versus inferiority, identity versus confusion, intimacy versus isolation, generativity versus stagnation, and yung last is integrity versus despair. So we have 12 stages of Erickson psychosocial stage. So, yun po, pakitake note po muna habang hindi pa kayo nakakalista ng mga notes nyo dyan before tayo mag-proceed sa question number 14. Okay, so now let's move on to number 14. Malapit na matapos. Okay, don't forget ha, i-comment your score below kapag natapos niyo ang video na ito. Tingnan natin kung may naka-perfect score. Okay, magta-top. Magta-top. Papasa sa board exam. Yes, number 14. It is the brain's ability to change from experience. It is the brain's ability to change from experience. Letter A, learning. Letter B, growth. Letter C, tabula rasa. Letter D, plasticity. Ability to change from experience. Alin dyan yung familiar kayo? Yung letter A, learning, growth, tabula rasa, plasticity. Yung letter D siguro yung hindi nyo pa masyadong familiar. And the correct answer for number 14 is letter D, plasticity. Yung hindi familiar, yun po ang sagot. Okay, now I will define plasticity. LOHA, ability to change, tandaan nyo po yan. Okay, plasticity or neuroplasticity is the brain's ability to change and adapt due to experience. So, to change and adapt due to experience. Kanina, change from experience. That is plasticity. It is an umbrella term referring to the brain's ability to change, reorganize, or grow neural networks. This can involve functional changes due to brain damage or structural changes due to learning. So, sa plasticity daw, ang brain ng isang tao ay nagbabago according sa kanyang na-experience. So, for example, ako, nung bagyong Yolanda, I experienced the typhoon na grabe, sobra, as in. So, with that experience, parang na-come na sa mind ko that, and there's a changes with my brain's perception on that typhoon. So kapag may typhoon na ang paparating, so paragang mag-outlook na ako na ganun. So like Yolanda. So that is plasticity. Yung kanina naman kasi sa tabula rasa by John Locke, it defines as a blank slate. It means na yung bata daw as empty mind pa talaga. So wala silang alam nung pinanganak sila, as in empty. So habang sila ay lumalaki, doon lang sila natututo. Yung mga informations ay they feel in their mind, so doon lang po sila natututo. So therefore, in short, yes, tabula rasa, or by John Locke, is believes that the child was born with an empty mind, a blank slate. Tabula rasa or blank slate. Okay, so plasticity, change sa experience. Experience po plasticity. Yung kanina naman, learning, of course, alam niyo naman po yan, kapag sinabing learning, syempre natututo ka. Okay, so kapag growth naman, we refers to the, quality or quantity? Of course, the quantity, growth, quantity. So the correct answer there is plasticity, ability to change from experience. Very good. So next time, alam na kung paano sagutin. Alright, ready na sa last question, number 15. Let's go. Number 15. Which statement on student diversity is correct? Letter A. Teacher must do his or her best to reduce student diversity in class. Letter B. The less the diversity of students in class, the better for teachers and students. Letter C. Student diversity is purely due to the students' varied cultures. Letter D. Teachers should accept the value diversity. Alin daw dyan ang correct statement ng student diversity? Yung clue mo dyan is diversity. Kapag sinabing diversity, meaning iba't ibang estudyante from iba't ibang kultura. From other cultures, Okay. Sa letter A kasi, si teacher, kailangan ma-reduce niya yung student diversity in class. Ano kaya yun? How she can or he can reduce the student diversity in class? Tama ba na i-reduce niya? May power kaya si teacher na ganun? Wala, of course. X. Letter B. The less the diversity of students in class, the better for teacher and students. Tama ba na sabihin ng isang teacher na kailangan less diversity lang ako sa loob ng klase kasi hindi mo kaya? Tama kaya yun? Di pag nagiging incompetent ka as a teacher, hindi ba? So, mali yun. Dapat hindi. Dapat kung ano yung nabigay ng principal or ano yung class mo, dapat you have to accept to yourselves at dapat marunong ka to handle those class or those students. Hindi dapat sabihin mo na kailangan kunti lang yung diverse of students na meron ako para mabilis kong ma-handle or hindi ako masyadong mahirapan. So that is a very no mindset. Okay, so letter C, student diversity is purely due to students' varied cultures. Sa letter C, yung student diversity daw is, it means that nanggaling nga po sila sa iba't ibang kultura. Students varied cultures. Tama naman po. Tama naman. But, later on. Okay, let's go with letter D. Teachers should accept the value diversity. Sa letter D, si teacher daw, i-accept niya ng bukas sa loob niya yung pagkakaiba-iba ng mga students niya. Yung pagkakaiba ng values, yung pagkakaiba-iba ng cultures and norms. So, pipilian natin si letter C and letter D. What's your correct answer with question number 15? The correct answer is letter D. Yes, letter D. Teachers should accept the value diversity. Tama? Okay, bakit hindi si letter C? Yung letter C po kasi tama naman talaga. Yung student diversity is defined as with students who varied cultures. Pero, mas angat kasi si letter D. Kasi yung sinasabi sa letter D is mas i-accept or kailangan i-accept ni teacher yung pagkakaiba-iba ng estudyante. Yung letter C kasi is nag-define lang siya ng student diversity. So, yung letter D naman dito siya. Kasi, yung sinabi, si teacher, she should accept the value, diversity of the students. So, gets? Alright, very good. Okay, so here's the more definition of student diversity. Having a diverse group of students simply means recognizing that all the people are unique in their own way. So kung ikaw daw ay isang teacher and you recognize the differences of your students in terms of their cultures, in terms of their norms, it means that you accept that they are unique in their own way. Tama naman kasi sa loob ng klase, hindi pare-pareho yung estudyante natin. Meron tayong student na Muslim. So the question is, go back with the teacher. Paano mo siya i-handle? Kasi iba yung kultura niya sa culture na meron yung ibang students. So talagang napaka-challenging as a teacher. Alright. Our diverse differences consist mainly of four purposes: disability, physical or cognitive, race, cultural background, gender and sexuality, and many more. So kapag sinabi nating students diversity, hindi lang po siya pala nagdi-define sa different culture. Maaari din siya sa may physical ang isang bata sa loob ng klase, paano mo yun i-handle, yung cultural background niya, yun nga po yung kanina, yung gender and sexuality niya, kapag po siya ay bakla or lesbian or anything, paano mo siya ma-handle na hindi naman ma-offend yung estudyante mo. Like for example, sa religion nga po, kanina sabi ko, kapag Muslim siya, paano mo siya ma-handle as a Muslim group or student na hindi naman po siya ma-offend to other groups na meron ka sa loob ng classes. So, yun po teacher, that is diversity. So, as a teacher, bilang guro, so sa ating mga future LPTs dyan, all you have to do is to accept with open arms the student diversity. So, kasi dyan talaga mame-measure mo kung gaano ka kagaling bilang teacher. Okay, so that's all. Natapos natin ang 15 items. Lakpakan naman po inyong mga sarili. Alright, so kahit anong score dyan, paki-comment po kayo sa ating video. So be proud of your score kasi talagang pinaghirapan nyo po yan. Okay, before I out this video, before we leave, I just want to say or leave a message. Okay. Ang tunay na sikreto sa tagumpay ay pagsikap at patuloy na pagbangon sa bawat pagkakamali. Agree? Alright, agree po kasi the true the true success is yung pagbangon at hindi ka sumusuko sa kahit anong laban na binabato sa'yo ng mundo. So, fighting lang ang mga future LPTs, mga top dalet families ko dyan. So, fighting lang kayo no matter what happen. Never, never, never give up. Kasi, yung success nyo pagdating ng tamang panahon is parang sparkling talaga yan. So, kasi, you never give up. That is the true success. You never give up. So, thank you so much. And good afternoon and bye-bye. So, good luck sa mga nag-long test. And yun nga po. Thank you so much. I just want to say goodbye na po. Thank you, thank you, thank you.